What is up, y'all? This is
Trey.
And I'm Q.
And this is HDYLM podcast, better known as How Do You Love Me? And with that being said, we're gonna get this thing started. Should I gunshot?
Yeah.
I just wanted to do that. No other reason than because we can. So,
in today's episode, I'll just carry it because you're lucky you stalling. We're reminiscing over past experiences.
Past experiences coming up.
Hey guys, so welcome back to the podcast. I know it's been a little while. I'm so sorry. Let's just blame this on me for now. I think I will take the blame for this one. I've been a little busy and my work schedule has just been keeping all of my attention. So we haven't been, doing the podcast like we should. We were pre-recording them, and then all of a sudden,
we got it caught up to us, so we're probably gonna start pre-recording and getting ahead of the schedule. That way when things do just pop up out of nowhere and we still got some stuff in the pocket,
right,
in the stash. So that's been us. But
so first of all, let's start with how full is your cup, Trey?
Okay. My cup is pretty full, like normal, maybe about 87, 87, 89. I'm good, just chilling this week.
Okay.
Yeah, well, not too much happening. So,
Good to know.
Yeah.
Good to know.
Go ahead.
Well, my cup, I'm just going to say it's on about 90.
That's what's up.
So we've added a little more to my cup. And I'm pretty sure we'll get into that in a little bit. But yeah, I'm on about 90 and I'll just stay there. I'm hoping and praying to stay there.
Yeah. That's all you can do.
That's all I can do.
All you can do is all you can do.
That's all I can do.
And so just do that.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I will.
Already. That's what I'm talking about. So
yeah.
So we got the how full is your cup out of the way. We're gonna move on to some breaking news, some current news.
So as of yesterday, man, I remember where I was when I heard this. Y'all, Joe Biden is our president-elect.
El Presidente.
Okay. Which means
we have a new president.
We have a new president coming. 45's leaving. And we have a black woman in the White House.
Yeah.
Not as the first lady. She's the vice president.
Yeah, that's crazy.
Breaking all the barriers.
Yeah, it just goes to show, when you have something that you're looking forward to, you just might get there with enough hard work and
dedication.
Perseverance.
Yeah.
Dedication.
Because I'm sure she probably, I'm not saying that she would want to give up, but, there's quite a few people, talking bad.
Yeah. And here's the thing. It's always going to be someone, right? So you got to know what you're going for and push through despite the noise. So, it's always going to be someone talking or, doing something.
And again, I just always think, like I've heard both sides. People don't like 45 and they also don't like the new president and vice president that are coming. Y'all, nobody's perfect. And I don't think this system is perfect. So, we just have to be optimistic, pray for the best, and hope for a better future.
Yeah.
Because we're definitely seeing some changes. But hopefully, the biggest thing I'm hoping that we get out of this is some peace. You know what I mean? Like general peace all over. Yeah, like all over. Talking about a civil war breaking out. And I'm just like, Lord, please do not let this happen, because there are some folks who cannot wait.
Well, yeah.
To just let all of their anger go on anybody.
Literally has nothing to do with what went on, what transpired. It's literally hey, this is a chance for me to let it out. And there are other ways that you can let it out. So, I mean, just to piggyback off what you said too, I hope people realize as well, for the most part, like it's not really super important on who's really in that White House specifically pertaining to you and your family. So like, and this again is just my opinion. Nobody who has really been in the White House has changed my day to day. Like me and you do daily. And just to make it more specific for those of you who might get technical, Joe Biden being in the president right now is not going to change your bank account tomorrow.
Right.
It is still going to say whatever number that it says, and you're going to have to do your day-to-day work for the next 4 years that he's in.
Like Obama being president didn't make any. It didn't change anything for me.
No, and
immediately.
That's that's something that it gets made into a big deal. But I mean, ultimately, y'all, it's percentages when they're doing this stuff, and your day to day is gonna be pretty much the same. So, and I'm talking about the people who get super emotional and like
because there's a lot that goes into
fighting, all this stuff.
Because there's so much. Like, I mean, some people are being denied their natural rights because of what's going on. So anyways, we're not gonna get into this too much because I'm not really big into politics, and I know a lot of people will fight depending on either way, whichever way, and I really don't want to get into that. But another big news or breaking news that we had is that Trey just had a birthday.
I did. Yeah, y'all. I went around 365 more days around the sun, and
blessed.
I'm blessed to see another year. Had a great time. We rode down to Houston. Went down to the Turkey Leg Hut. That was really good.
Yes,
y'all. It was worth it. There is a 2 to 3 hour wait, but y'all, we skipped all that because it was my birthday. I just pretty much, we showed up. I rolled down the window, showed my face, and when they saw me and her, it was just like, oh, don't even worry about it. 2 minutes and we'll make you play.
HDYLM, come on in.
Say, man. And no, that definitely did not happen. We rolled up and that line was wrapped two times around.
It was like, get to the back of the line.
Yeah, it was wrapped 2 times around. Luckily, Kiana with her savvy, what? I don't even know. I don't know how she found it. Either way, y'all, she found the hack to the Turkey Leg Hut. They have a Turkey Leg Hut truck. And so we went to the truck park, and sure enough, it was there. And then the second part is it took us 2 minutes to get our food.
That's right.
There was no line.
No wait.
I was like, this must be new because nobody's here. We just left the other store and it was like wrapped around the building. And from what I hear, it's actually been there like 6 months.
Yeah.
So that is the hack. If you're thinking about going to Houston and visiting the Turkey Leg Hut, go to the truck.
Go to the truck.
It's the same food.
Well, I think most people want to go to the actual Turkey Leg Hut for the experience. And then from what I saw on Instagram, they do have quite a few celebrities that come through.
Yeah.
Because that place is slamming. It's so good.
Yeah.
But it looks like COVID Central. Because it's just so many people packed out there. And it was a little hot or a little warm.
Yeah.
So I can imagine people probably didn't have their mask on. And of course, when you're in a restaurant, you don't have your mask on. They didn't have any tables that were closed or anything. So that's not a knock to them. That's just not how I feel comfortable. So we went to the Turkey Leg Hut Junior, as Trey likes to call it.
Yes.
Got our Cajun bowl, and we went on our way.
Yeah.
So be looking out for a vlog so that you can see just a little bit of what we did. We didn't really do too much, but we had a good time. We relaxed. We did a little staycation. It was good. So Trey turned 28 on the 28th.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's pretty cool.
Yeah, we kept it pretty simple, but we enjoyed ourselves in Houston.
Shout out to Houston for hosting us.
Yeah. So that's going to help us transition to our topic for today. So the title of this week's episode is Guard Your Heart. And I named that after...
Episode? No,
I know, right?
It's an episode. It's all good. I got it.
The title of this episode is Guard Your Heart, y'all. I've been listening to the Big Sean album, and I absolutely love that song where he's like, what does he say? Hold your head, guard your heart. So I decided to name it after that song because I've been jamming to it because Trey turned 28. And I don't know why he turned 28, and it made me think. But anyways, I started reflecting back on some things that happened in my childhood and, you know, just reminiscing on life. You know, I tend to do that when birthdays happen. And I listen to a lot of older music because most of the time it takes me back to the place that I was when I heard it the first time. You know what I mean?
I think a lot of people.
Like I'm stuck in like certain decades of music just because like it just reminds me of where I was when I heard it or the mood that was set when I heard it. So that's the beauty of music because it holds memories. Sometimes it could hold a bad memory though.
That's a fact.
And so when you're reminiscing, just remember that your current life is a product of your past decisions or the ones that were made by people around you. Okay? Because I had like mild trauma in my life. Mild trauma. I'm not going to say like super, super bad trauma, which I'm pretty sure everybody has had a little bit. But for whatever reason, when I think back, those are the times that I remember the most.
Right.
I remember those the most. Because I think they made such a big impression on my life that it's hard for me to forget them.
Right.
But I try to remember that my life is a product of the decisions that I've made or the people around me have made. So you really have to guard your heart because you could become bitter, right? You could become bitter.
No, that could happen easily.
You could have regrets and you can hurt other people. That saying, hurt people is so evident in some people I know. And sometimes it's evident in myself. You know what I mean? Because I think about like my relationship with my father. And if you listen, hey, Daddy. It's taken a long time for us to rebuild our relationship. Now, I probably have been one of the kids who probably has not had the worst relationship, you know, like on a scale of 1 to 10, I'm probably like the closest to having a better one with him, even though I was upset. But sometimes like I still get upset, even though we have restored our relationship.
Right.
You know what I mean? Because like, even though we've made it so far, I still think about the times when I was not with him. You know what I'm saying? And when I was thinking about all this, I was thinking like, if I continue to think on those negative things, then I might lose some of the progress that we've made. You know what I mean? Like, so if I'm constantly thinking about like how, you know, my dad wasn't there for me for this experience, or how, you know, there were other kids and I just didn't feel like we were equal. You know what I'm saying? I could lose my relationship because my dad could, you know, easily just be like, you know what, I'm here now. And the fact that you keep bringing this up, it's not making you know what I'm saying? Yeah. It's like hurting my feelings and I'd just rather not have to deal with this. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I do. Yeah, it's tough because, you know, the enemy has a unique, twisty way of always bringing that stuff back around. Yeah. So like it has to on both sides. You got to have a constant reminder of, oh, I already forgave them for that. You know, oh, I already said sorry for this. Yeah. Like even if it's you who did something to someone, all he can do is bring thoughts, ideas, and suggestions. It's on us when we act on those, right? So like we literally, oh, okay, that thought came to our mind. We can't help that. But what we can help is what we do with it. Yeah. And that's the hardest part. Because if we don't know that, then we think that these thoughts, I'm doing it. So now I take responsibility as a thought. Not necessarily. You can't help what thoughts come to your mind. You only can do, you only have control over what you do with once it comes. And like I said before, one main thing is is having the mind of, okay, I'm going to try and stay positive as much as I can. Because if not, like you said, we can find ourselves going down these rabbit holes of what ifs and different scenarios that, even if it was true, like on some things, like maybe you said like with your father, I dealt with that before. And my whole thing was like, well, you know what? I don't know what happened there.
Right.
And so all I can do is deal with right now. And so, when we start going through that, then it's like, oh, I can be at least happy right now.
Yeah.
I can't change what happened in the past.
Yeah. But I think it's so hard. Like I'm constantly having to tell myself and ask God for guidance, because I'm like, I know where we are. I know where we are, but sometimes I still think back. Just because I don't know.
Yeah, and
it's just hard. It's hard because I'm like, I really do have the right to be upset, but I don't have the right to be upset time. Because at this point I've said those words, which are, I forgive you,
and that's the key.
And so that's the thing that I always struggle with is, like I'm constantly telling myself, like, if that were me on the other side, would sorry be enough?
Like, what do you mean?
Like, because sometimes, like you was telling me that the other day when I was telling you about something that had happened, and you were like, it sounds like you want more than an apology.
Yeah.
Like sometimes, yes, but there's nothing I can do about that.
No. So, when people really have a sincere heart and they come to you with like, hey, forgive me for this, or what I did, I know, and you mend that back together. You have one person thinking, okay, I did my part. I did what I was supposed to do. Now we can move forward and push forward and build on this new establishment, Yeah. And then you have somebody else who's like, yeah, I said I forgive them, but
I know
I don't. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And then it's tough because now the other person isn't
they're like, what can I do? I mean,
and
I'm
technically,
doing my best.
And that's where, I've been on that side where it's like, man, I've said sorry, I meant it. We're not doing that, anymore. Yet I still feel something. And then that's when, I got the realization is, okay, I did my part.
Yeah.
That ain't on me no more.
Yeah.
That's on them. And so, what they decide to do with that, again, has nothing to do with me really, because I've done what I was supposed to do.
Yeah.
And I really sincerely wanted to work it out. But it's hard because, again, those thoughts, you don't control those.
Yeah.
Like what pops in your head after certain movements or turns or what you see here. Yeah. You can't control it.
I just wish somebody would have taught me more. I mean, I'm not blaming anybody because you know what? Everybody's different. And for some people, saying sorry is enough. But for years of hurt, and I'm not just, ragging on, I'm just giving an example for this situation. For years of hurt or not understanding, I wish that someone would tell me, and I know you're saying you just gotta let it go, but I wish someone would have told me at that point, once I got what I wanted, what I was supposed to do next.
Yeah. That makes sense though.
You know what I'm saying? Because like once I get what I've always wanted, now what?
And it's so funny. Extremely wealthy people go through this all the time. Like, could you imagine not, or growing up poor or whatever, and then all of a sudden you have amassed a crazy amount of wealth. Now you can get everything, buy everything, do everything. They filled the void. Yeah. But that wasn't necessarily what was needed to. Right. So now it's like, okay, I don't know what else to do. And then, unfortunately, some of them end up killing themselves. But on the outside, we're like, bro, they had everything.
I know, right?
But they didn't.
You're like, it was right there.
Yeah.
What more could you want?
Yeah, it's tough. That's why read, like, you already know. For me personally, it was reading. Because outside of that, nobody tells you a lot of the stuff that goes on in the mind. I got books right across from me talking about what is that? Where is it at?
Are you talking about the father one?
No, it's actually on the other side, but emotional intelligence.
Oh, okay, yeah. That one.
So you have emotional intelligence, just literally psychology book. Like this stuff is complicated, y'all.
Yeah, it really is.
We are as human beings,
really
we're complicated, and it's tough because let me ask you, like. No, I'm not gonna do that. I'm not gonna ask you that.
Well, what I was thinking about too was like, because you got to guard your heart. Like sometimes I do allow certain things to like penetrate my heart. Like I look at certain things and I'm like, it makes me angry.
Yeah,
because I'm just like that's not fair.
Yeah, like
even the thing that really makes me mad as an adult, and I was telling Trey's brother this the other day because he just turned 18. Happy birthday, Jay.
Happy birthday, bro.
I was telling him, I was like, the worst part of getting older is the fact that you realize, or your realization of the evil in this world happens. And I really don't like that part of getting older. Because it just sucks. Yeah,
the stuff that you don't know that you don't know.
Yeah, and then when I know, I'm like, ugh, why do I have to know that? Because that's not, I don't know. It's like, you remember how like when you were so little and you just thought, when I get older, I don't know, whatever's going to happen. And it's just going to be cookies and rainbows and, whatever. And then you get here and you're like, this is harder than I thought.
Yeah, and it's, unfortunately, it's tough because a lot of people get that same realization, except it's hard on them because right now they're growing up in times where, everybody wins and everything is, honky dory. Yeah. And then when real life comes, it's like, wait a minute, this is not what I was promised. Yeah. It's not what I was told. And
yeah. I just feel like as a Black person, like in general, like Black woman, Black girl, like I feel like I didn't get that candy life as a kid like I know some other folks did. And now that I'm an adult, I kind of expected it to happen once I got on my own, and it just did not happen. Yeah. You know what I mean? It just didn't happen. What happened was like I realized so much as a kid just because I don't know what it was. Did my mom tell me so much more? Was I just one of those kids who knew or, was just aware? I don't know. But I knew so much as a kid. And now that I'm older, it's just like my eyes are so much more open. And I'm like, I would just like not to have known some of this stuff. You know what I'm saying? Like I would have just preferred to like be so innocent and not know.
Yeah, it's tough. It's a balance that has to happen. That's why I think, some parents are, you have to be kind of protective of your younger kids because what they see or hear could alter a whole lot of stuff or take them down a whole nother road. Well, because that's why that guarding your heart is so important.
Yeah, because like when I know this is so simple, but like Santa Claus, I feel like that's just an example of a parent trying to protect their child's innocence. Like, do not like, I know that they believe, I know that it's not real. Do not crush that for them. Yeah. Because the moment that you do, now they're on the other side of what this is. And you know what I'm saying? Not even thinking like spiritually, like about Jesus' birth and anything like that. But some kids like wholeheartedly believe in Santa Claus just because of what they seen. Not that mom and dad taught them, but I'm just saying like the awakening that happens after a child realizes that Santa Claus isn't real. Yeah. It's kind of like the same thing. It's like Well, why didn't anybody tell me? And what y'all been lying for?
No reason.
And like,
yeah.
What?
Yeah.
Then who is that? You know,
right.
Like all the
Who's
questions
this
that
guy?
come to you, and you just like why?
Yeah.
Why even lie? And those are the kind of questions that come to my mind, because I'm like, why do I need to know this? And I understand, but it's just like, why was I being lied to this whole time?
Mm-hmm.
Why wasn't I aware? Or why am I aware?
Why was I made aware?
Yeah, why was I made aware? Why was it so important for me to know this? Like some of those things, they like creep into my mind, because I'm just like, they kind of keep me down a little bit, because then like I just understand so much more, and it makes me skeptical. Like I walk around with a little more of like, this too good to be true. This is too good to be true. Like that's the kind of attitude I have sometimes.
Yeah, I mean, that happened. I mean, that's been my whole life, really.
Yeah.
Like,
yeah,
certain
like
things that have happened in the past happen a little too many times, and so now I don't get too excited.
Yeah,
or
that's true.
And I'll be frank. You know, my real father. There were times where, you know, multiple times. Hey, when you come over, we're gonna go fishing. Oh, cool. I love it. Yeah. There were times where we did, but there were more times where, you know, I wake up, because we leave early in the morning, you know, before the sun comes up, because we gotta get there. They're still on the top, you know. And I would get up extra early, because, you know, when you're excited, you can't sleep. You just fake sleep. Really, you trying to get up as soon as you can.
Okay. And
you get up, and it's time to get up, and then he's still sleeping. But then you look down, and there was the big 40, you know, sitting by the couch or whatever, and then you're waiting, and it never comes. And then, you know, it happens so many times. It's like, okay, in order to not get hurt, let me just not get too excited. But I mean, I took it to an unhealthy, like all the way, where it didn't matter what it was.
Yeah.
So it wasn't just with him, it was with anything. So no matter what was happening, okay, cool. If we make it there, I'm happy.
Yeah.
If we don't, it is what it is.
Yeah.
And you know, it's taken a long time to break through that. And now, to be honest, I don't know. It's just like up in the air on that point. But
yeah, but I bet that's the way that you guarded your heart.
Yeah.
Because for whatever reason,
Yeah,
every time I had that situation happen, I was still believing.
Yeah, and
he on his way.
And the thing is, I think I didn't want to think bad things about my father, and so that was a way to keep it level for me. Like, you make excuses for it, like, you know, well,
he tired.
Yeah,
he had a long day at work.
Yeah, you know, and so that was a way for me just to stay there, like stay even and not get too excited or too angry. I was in the middle, okay, or nonchalant, as they
nonchalant is the word that we pretty much like to use for you. Yeah, I mean, it just happens.
Yeah, but I mean, you know, I'm good. It's just, like I said, I think that might have been a way for me to just not, you know, have an anger or hate or anything, because I still don't. But,
I would prefer to have it like that, because what happens with me is I get angry. I get angry because I'm just like, I don't know, because I just think about what I would have done, but that's not me.
Well, and that's not me. That's the part where, like in
any situation, it's not me.
Yeah, and for me personally, especially, I had to stop doing that a lot without, like, I did that for my father, but outside people, I'm just like, I would have never done this, and I had to check myself from not judging, but putting other people to the same standards that I held myself. And that's kind of shaky, because they should be like, you think, oh man, if I hold myself to this, other people will.
No.
And they don't. And so when they didn't, I'm just like, bro, why you, like, I would have never done that. In my head, I'm thinking this.
Yeah.
When really,
Yeah,
they're not me.
But because you've been conditioned in a different way.
Yes,
like, even another person who was raised just like you would still
facts
not be you.
Right, and then when you realize that, you're just like, okay, I'm gonna let them do them, but I'm gonna always do me.
Yeah.
And hopefully, if I do that enough times, I'll get enough of that in return to make it all right for the few outliers that, you know, do you dirty or whatever the case may be. So, since we're talking about guard your heart, I was thinking, one of my mentors one time, he said, you know, you have to stand at the door of your mind and guard it. So it's like
don't even let the bad thoughts or the negative things come in.
Like basically,
yeah.
He was basically saying like you have to always be aware. Like you can't be so careless that you let negative things come in or the wrong things or wrong people. You got to stand at the door of your mind and guard it.
Yeah.
At all times. And
see, that's good, but that's the part where, like, if I could just, but first thing that happens is I let it in so I can investigate.
Yeah, and
that's what happens. I'm like, back it up, back that truck all the way up, because I'm about to unfold all of this and figure out what they just said or what they just did, and we're gonna get to the bottom of this.
Yeah.
Next thing you know, I'm obsessing about it for 2 weeks. I cannot believe she said this, did this, or whatever. Yeah. So I need to get to the point where, like you said, or like your mentor said, you need to stand at the door of your mind.
Because it you know, when you say like, man, then I'm thinking about this for 2 weeks, and it's like and it's like, not only is it wasted time, but it's energy that could be spent doing something else, maybe something else positive in your life. You know what I mean? Where if you're doing this, you're not thinking about that.
That's right.
Or whatever. You know, that's one thing that I don't say it a lot to you, because I don't want to make you mad or anything. You know what I mean? But
well, because when I'm in the middle of it, I sure don't want to hear your logic.
I know, and that's why I don't say anything.
I know. But at the end of it, I always end up realizing, okay, you're right.
Because it's because sometimes stuff can weigh us all down.
Yeah,
and it can weigh us down to the point where you're like, man,
yeah,
I'm thinking about this 24/7.
I know,
and can't change nothing.
Can't change nothing, because like the thing. And I've said this before. I don't know if I said it on the podcast, but I know I've said this out to somebody. The thing, like, if you want to hit me in the gut, then remind me of my family. I don't know. I mean, I'm not trying to tell you to. I'm just letting you know. Remind me of my family. And nobody knows how to do that but my family. like the disappointment, the just whatever. Like, just remind me of that, and I could sit and think about that for a long time, and I can make my own self go down like a rabbit hole.
Yeah.
Just by mentioning, something about my family.
Yeah, and that's it's one of those things, like, we gotta, as people here in the U.S. or wherever you are, you gotta literally think about what's coming in and try and realign and because if it's something that needs to be focused on and thought on, then you're working towards a solution. But if it's nothing that can be solved or not right now, we just wasting energy on it.
And that's why I like to stay busy. Like I've told y'all that I don't like to have nothing to. I mean, at some point I do, but I don't like to have nothing to do for long periods of time, because my mind just runs and I just start thinking and reflecting, and that's not good for me. So part of guarding my heart is to stay busy. Yeah. Because while I'm busy, I ain't thinking about it.
Yeah. And I mean, and that's good and bad too,
I
right?
know, because then I'm not addressing it. But hey, good thing though, I'm not, what's the word? I guess in a way I could be, but I'm not doing like some people are with like self-medicating. At least I'm not doing that.
Yeah. That's different.
Yeah. Because that's one thing I'm not going to do. Like, I don't care how bad I start feeling. I'm not going to go do some drugs or drink or something.
Yeah, because I mean, ultimately, that's really not.
Yeah, because I feel like it would just exaggerate my feelings.
Well,
not exaggerate, but accelerate, throw fire at, and probably make me act out of character.
Yeah, and then because that's not you, right? Yeah. That's like you said, that's the alcohol or the drug that's really doing that, not you. Mm-hmm. But then ultimately, when you come back down from that,
yeah,
the problem is still there,
and it's probably worse.
Dead in the face,
sitting on my shoulder.
Yeah,
like
yeah. So address it straight on, head on, and then one thing is for sure is like a lot of times it can be addressed already and done, checked off in the books. We're good, but again, those thoughts, ideas, and suggestions just swoop on in like it hadn't even been solved.
Yeah.
And then we fall back down something that's already like done. Mm-hmm. And then it's like, how did I get back here?
You know why? I think it's just, I don't know. It's hard. And it's something as complex as a broken relationship cannot just be fixed with words. It has to have actions and things like that.
Yeah.
And, all kinds of stuff. So
yeah, I heard one time, like, if we're talking about like, let's just say, I don't know, trust. Mm-hmm. It said trust is lost like dumping the water out of the cup, just like splashing it out on the cup. It's lost that fast, and it's gained back one drop at a time. Mm-hmm. Back in that same cup. That's true. And so I could see how what you just said, it makes sense. And at the same time, we also have to give those people the chance to get those drops back in the, in there without going back down what they took us through or whatever. If it's been resolved, you know. But all those things are good in theory. You gotta, it takes time to really learn and practice what we, what you're preaching and stuff. So.
Well, do a quick little plug. If you haven't already checked out the YouTube channel, what are you waiting on? Okay.
I don't know.
What are you waiting on?
You should see our beautiful faces today.
Okay. The episode you're listening to, including this one, has a video. So if you like seeing people's faces, head over to YouTube to watch the episodes and subscribe while you're over there. Okay, so just type in HDYLM on YouTube and you will see our channel.
You will see it.
We do have two channels, right? Yeah,
one, it just has little clips of the episodes. It's HDYLM clips. And then you have the full episodes where, you can, like you're listening to this, it's the whole episode. Subscribe to both of them, of course, and hit the bell so that you can get the notification every time a new episode pops up.
That's right. And we're also on Facebook too, y'all.
Yeah.
If you're not a fan of YouTube, but you stay on Facebook at work,
boom,
go ahead and like our How Do You Let Me podcast page on Facebook. And we also post the videos there. But jumping back into our topic real quick, Trey, just think about it for a moment. What's one song that reminds you of your childhood? Good, bad, either way. What's one song? I'll tell you one that reminds me of my childhood.
Yeah, tell me that because, I got to think.
The one song that reminds me of my childhood is Candy Rain by Soul For Real. Okay. And that song right there reminds me of car rides with my mama. It reminds me of dancing in my car with my basically this song reminds me of car rides. I love car rides.
Interesting.
That song just has like good vibes to me. Okay. I remember where I was when I first heard it. I was in the car with my mom and my brother, and we were all just like jamming and singing, and those like signify like good moments for me. Like as a child. So that song really, like, if I had to wrap it up, that one would be my theme song for my childhood.
Okay.
None of the words. I'm just saying the music, the vibe. Yeah, the mood that it sets for me when I hear it.
Gotcha.
So it's definitely like one of my favorites.
Well, you probably should have asked me this before we even started the podcast. I'm gonna tell you that now.
You still ain't got nothing?
I have no clue. Maybe. Okay, how about this? Any song from Karen Clark Sheard.
Karen Clark Sheard. Okay. What's your favorite by Karen Clark Sheard?
That's also tough because I like them all.
Okay.
Finally Karen. That whole CD.
Okay. That whole
anything
CD.
off of that, that's what.
And why that in particular?
Because for some reason, I don't know if that's what my mom was listening to growing up or whatever. Like, I can remember that song, or like songs from that album would randomly pop into my head while I was doing things. So I can remember being out on the baseball field.
Yeah.
Like young, like I'm talking, young, out on the baseball field, and that song is, or a random song is in my head from that album, or like you said, just riding in the car with my mom.
Yeah.
But, I don't know, and it like all her songs on that album are like I don't know, they bring a happiness feeling.
Yeah.
That's like, it's, I don't know.
I bet you it's also because it's a memory. It's like a memory, and it's also a good feeling for you too.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I can definitely see that, because when your mama hears that CD, she gets hyped too, just like you do.
Yeah. That was crazy.
Yeah. I bet that one is for
that
you.
makes sense. Yeah.
Yeah. So it probably does the same thing for you. Who's another artist that might, I know Karen Clark Sheard. Who's another artist that you remember from your childhood? Just,
I don't know.
Like, okay, so let me see. If you had,
that's tough for me because, like, music, we didn't listen to a lot. I didn't listen to a lot of music, but I know a lot of songs, but I don't know.
Yeah.
Like, music really wasn't, like, that didn't just take me over like the top on any, in any place or anything.
Just think about like overall your whole life, because you're 28 now. If you were on a road trip and you had one CD, it was stuck in your CD player. There's no iPad, there's no radio. If there was one CD stuck in your CD player for the whole trip, what CD would you hope was stuck in the CD player?
Yeah, I just said it. Finally, Karen.
Really?
Yeah, because it's tough because like older songs, like, way back 80s, 70s, like they actually made CDs where like every song pretty much had to be fire. You know what I mean? So you listen to the whole thing. That CD for me, I could listen to the whole thing like a lot.
Yeah.
So that's why I said that. Now, if you're talking about different artists who just had one little, I like that song on there, but that's the only song I like on there. So that's why I would make it tough. Literally that whole CD I could listen to.
Yeah.
All the time. So you gotta remember, y'all, I was a PK kid, okay?
Ain't nothing wrong with that.
No, it's nothing wrong with it. I'm just saying, I didn't listen to a whole lot of stuff, and then at that, it mostly was like gospel. So the experience that a lot of people had with music and stuff, I didn't get a chance to. My cousin would burn CDs for me, have like Outkast on there and stuff, and then my mom then would find it and be like, "What is this?" You know what I'm saying? So it's a lot of those experiences I just didn't have.
I'm sorry.
With music. So it is what it is.
I'm just funny. So what's one other thing? I'm sorry, because you just made this come into my mind. What's one thing you weren't allowed to do as a preacher's kid? That was just like, why?
Yeah.
As a kid.
Yeah.
Now, you may understand now, but as a kid, what was one thing you weren't allowed to do as a child that you were just like, but why?
Yeah. So, and maybe we can go into more detail on another episode with somebody else or whatever. But for sure, there were just things that I could not watch growing up. So like Pokemon, that was a no. So you talk about guarding your heart. They were not playing about Pokemon or Digimon, shows like that. They were like demonic.
Yeah.
And no, you are not watching them. So
I love Pokemon.
Isn't that crazy? Like some of the things that, you try and keep away from people, they are drawn to it and stuff. So like, it's funny. I didn't even used to really care about it. Like once they were like, no, I was like, cool, I'm good with Dragon Ball Z. Don't even worry about me. Yet at school, everybody in the whole school seemed like, right?
Yeah.
It seemed like everybody had Pokemon cards.
Of course.
And so I don't have any because for one, they're not buying that. And two, I can't watch it.
Yeah.
You know, so I have none. Somehow, y'all, because in class, the teacher would let you put it in your desk or put your cards in the desk. So they have big stacks in a rubber band in the desk. And I wouldn't have any. But over time, I ended up with a stack of Pokemon cards. And they was like the good ones. I'm like, how did I even get those? But either way, again, my parents found them and like, what is this?
Like going straight to hell with these cards.
I'm just saying. So either way, they found them and they were disposed of quickly. I probably, thinking back, I'm like, man, I probably should have sold those or something, you know?
Yeah, you probably should have. It's funny that you say that. I wasn't a preacher's kid, but my mama, when she heard about Pretty Ricky, because the way I was introduced to Pretty Ricky in middle school, remember Grind on Me, or Grind With Me came out?
Yep, that was middle school.
Some friends had danced to that in the talent show. You know, they was grinding and stuff. And I was like, I didn't think nothing of it, but now that I think back, we was in 6th grade and they was
buddy,
like all on the stage and stuff.
That's bad. Yeah.
How did y'all let that? Anyways, when my mama was on her way to work one day, the radio stations was talking about how bad this CD was. Do not let your kids listen. You know, all this and that. So my mama came home and specifically told me, because, you know, back then we was downloading CDs and stuff.
Yeah,
so it
straight
was
off
just
LimeWire. And
so she told me specifically, do not get that CD. Yes, ma'am. Now, I had a friend who could do pretty much anything.
Yeah, I think we all did.
I had a friend. So when I was over there, I didn't have a CD, but I was over there, you know.
Grinding just as hard as them.
Okay.
Dang.
And jamming to it, right? My mama didn't know. But then they had another CD that came out. And of course, again, my mom was like, do not get that CD. And my daddy was coming in town. He was coming in town. And we went, for whatever reason, we went to the record store, the CD store or whatever. And I was in there and I was cornering my dad. I was like, Daddy, please, can you give me this Pretty Ricky CD? He's like, oh, really? I ain't never heard of that. What's going on? I was like, Daddy, can you buy it for me? I'll meet you at the counter. My mama, don't you buy her that CD. I done told her she don't need that CD. See this sticker right here? I was like, dang. You know, the so parental. Yeah, no, I didn't get that CD. My mom was so mad. But anyway, somebody else still gave it to me. And I listened to it all the way on the way to my granny house in the back seat. Just.
Well, that don't make no sense. And that's why you gotta guard your heart. A lot of people think your heart is in your chest. It is not. It is your eyes. It is your mind. It is your ears.
I didn't know nothing about none of that. I was just listening.
No, I'm just saying.
Everybody else was listening.
Yeah.
That was the hot thing.
What they were doing, right, when you think back, like based off their knowledge of what it was, like, no, this is not the level of awareness I want to take you to.
Right.
You know what I mean?
I didn't know.
I know, we did. It just sounded like you being mean. Like, you just being mean. You don't want me to have fun.
I was like, come on, it's just music.
You don't want me to have friends.
Okay, because I'm like, dang, I can't do anything. I couldn't talk on the phone with boys or nothing.
Again, we think they trying to
makes
guard
sense.
us. Like I said, for the knowledge that they have, based on that, this is the rules I have set. And, you know, sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't.
Sometimes it doesn't.
It's tough.
All right, well, we are going to go ahead and close this episode. I thank you guys for listening because this was a little late. Sorry, y'all. We should have already done this. But we're trying to get back on schedule. So we thank y'all for listening to the How Do You Love Me podcast. If you're new here, we really appreciate you. But we don't want you to forget to subscribe and leave a review letting us know how we're doing. Okay. We want to hear. Okay.
Yeah.
We would love to hear from you about what topics you want us to discuss or to get our advice. You can send us an email at HDYLoveme@gmail.com, or you can just DM us on Instagram at HDYLM_podcast. And again, if that is just too much, leave us a voicemail at 682-231-0848.
Hey.
Go ahead and do your spiel.
Basically, y'all, remember, it's always grand gratitude over here. That's high thinking, strong faith, simple living, smart work. That being said, peace.
Oh, yeah. Check out my shirt real fast.
Look at it real quick.
Look at
that shirt real quick, y'all.
Look at this. Got this HDYLM shirt. Okay. Don't y'all love it?
I don't know why she had to stand up like that.
So y'all can see it?
They can see it.
Oh, I didn't know.
While you looking, look at my hoodie before we get out of here.
Look at it.
What you doing?
They can't see
Check
it.
it out. Yeah, you can. They can see it. I'm telling you.
Yeah. Got that merch.
Anyway.
Merch.
That's some samples right there.
Yeah.
We getting it together.
Yeah, so y'all go check out the website at HDYLM.com. And pretty soon we will start having our merch on there. And if you'd love to be a co-host or a visitor on our podcast, you can definitely DM us.
Yeah, let us know.
Let us
get this thing popping.
All right, so we'll catch y'all on the next one. Peace.